Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Friday and all of our guests today are brought to you by the Bayside Oceanfront Resort. Looking for the ultimate Vancouver Island getaway? Head to beautiful Parksville and experience the Bayside Oceanfront Resort, where every stay feels like a vacation you'll never forget. Whether it's a date night, family trip, corporate event, Bayside is your perfect year-round escape. Book your getaway now, 250-248-8333. Your island adventure starts here. And a reminder, mention D&D for 10% off. And get your D&D merch there as well.
Oh, yeah.
One guy I know that he would like some D&D merch. Actually, we sent him some D&D merch.
He's got some.
John Shannon from the 100% Hockey Podcast joins us now. John, how are you, sir?
I'm great, Ryan. Good to see you in the big chair. What, Rick couldn't handle it?
No. He said, I need you next to me. Kind of, I'm like his comfort blanket.
I'm the sidekick. Sidekick.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, right. So the biggest question I had all summer long was, why is Dollywall not taking you for breakfast in Toronto? And then, if you did go to Toronto, you turned your social media off, Rick.
No, I didn't go. Didn't go. I went to Los Angeles on a sea cruise, John, and that
heartbreaking.
Yeah,
heartbreaking. That all of your fans are heartbroken that you didn't get a chance to buy me breakfast.
I'm coming there, and the next time, in about a few months, I got a wedding there, and I'm calling you up. Be ready.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's not your wedding, though, is it?
No. No.
Okay.
Pat Morris is ahead of you, and after Pat, then you're in there.
Well, Morris and I live in the same neighborhood, so
really?
Maybe it could be the three of us.
Yeah, let's do the three of us.
You're officially out of excuses now that he said
Pat
that.
Morris, who's the agent for everybody, agent of the Stars, and you and I will have lunch.
Okay. And Friedman's out in the parking lot waiting for his chance, or what?
He's out. I've done him twice in Toronto. No more. Friedman's out.
John, a little bit of a tough turn, but we're going to go there. Last weekend, you dropped a special edition of the 100% Hockey Podcast talking about the life of Ken Dryden. I heard you mention this when you were talking about how amazing his hockey career was. But you would argue, I think, I have this right, that post-career might have been even more impressive when it comes to Ken Dryden.
I think his impact on the game, I think his impact on the Toronto Maple Leafs to a certain point might in the end be more long-term impactful than, believe it or not, winning 6 Stanley Cups in 8 seasons with Montreal. Yeah. 1983, when he wrote The Game and it got published, I would argue that it is in many ways the most prolific hockey book ever written. And it described his last season in Montreal, the 78-79 season. And it also just, I think, took a lot of people inside the game and what it meant. Kenny was a fascinating guy. I got a chance to work alongside him at Maple Leaf Sports when we launched a couple of TV channels. I didn't necessarily agree with everything he did or he stood for, but he at least had the professionalism and the conscience to tell you what his thinking process was. And I think in the last 15 years, his work in trying to make us more aware of what's going on in the CTE is going to be probably more impactful than his 8 years of playing for Canadians.
I know if Donnie was here today, he would ask you about this. He always calls you Mr. Television. We've ran a lot of, well, not a lot, because there's not a lot of Ken Dryden game highlights. Why was it that the NHL didn't follow the same path as like NFL films and have, a dedicated conscience to documenting the game early on?
Well, there were tries, but I think one of the things that people will find amazing, for the longest time, NFL films did not make money. And the National Football League was so prolific that it could actually absorb the losses that NFL films created in order to build the brand. And you're right. I think, NFL films are a big part of what has made the NFL brand so popular. No one in hockey was prepared to take the risk of building that brand at a loss. And the other thing is, particularly in the first 25 years of NFL films, you shot on one day and then took 6 days to perfect it. Well, what do you know? There was less than 200 regular season games in the NFL. That to me is a big part of what the NFL has such an advantage on, that, and they're kind of spreading themselves out. But the fact that basically we deal with a sport one day a week and then can enjoy it for 6. Well, in hockey, in basketball, in baseball, it's an ongoing process. It never stops. It's 7 days a week, and you don't get a chance to take that step back, watch what you did, watch how the plays performed, and by the time you produce it, it's ancient history. And that's a real challenge, and that's a difference between the NFL and the other 3 big sports in our continent.
John, just a horrible season for the Canucks on and off the ice last year. They had the Miller-Pettersson feud, the whole 9 yards. What are you expecting from the Canucks this season? Have you talked to Jim Rutherford yet? What's going on in terms of your thoughts about Vancouver? I
haven't talked to Jimmy much this summer. Just some brief conversations. I think there's a real hope and belief that things can settle down. I mean, when you look beyond the Miller-Pettersson thing, Rick, I mean, how many times were we consumed with Rick Tocchet's future? Mm-hmm. How much time did we spend after the Four Nations break worrying about, well, is Tock coming back and what's going to happen there? Management has had to settle things down. And I think they're on the way to doing it. I don't think we'll really know that until they play a regular season game and Adam Foote has put his imprint on this hockey club. But it ends up being the strength of this team are still question marks. Where is Pettersson in all of this? Can he bounce back? Can Thatcher Demko stay healthy? We're going to have a soap opera for 24 months about Quinn Hughes. Yep. And so those are going to be issues that in a very, very difficult media market, and I don't say that in a negative sense, I say that in a real sense. That's the reality. The market is a very, very high-profile, difficult market to deal with. Some people have a tough time doing it, some don't. The questions that are asked are the right questions. But that's what's going to happen. And the only way, and you know this, Rick, the only way that the Canucks can really put everything to rest is by winning more than losing. And we'll have to just wait and see if that's possible.
Yeah, solves everything. Okay, let's go to Edmonton. Connor McDavid not signed. You know what? Mitch Marner just left Toronto. Boy, oh boy, you don't want McDavid leaving Edmonton. Some thought they might sign before the season. Now looks like that's not going to happen. Boy, oh boy, a lot of tension in Edmonton concerning Connor McDavid.
Yes, although I'm still one of those people that believes he will sign in Edmonton. I don't know when. I do think a lot of the angst this summer was created when so many people just thought it was a given that he would sign, and really the only issue would be, the term. And I think the pushback that everyone got was, hey guys, let's just not make the assumption that he's a done deal in Edmonton, because there's lots to be concerned about with Connor, with his family, with job security. Money's not an issue. Money will never be an issue for Connor McDavid, but he wants to win. And will the Oilers be in a position, not this year, because I think they're going to be in a good position to win this year, but in the next few years, will they be in a position to win? And that's the question I think that Connor's asking, and I think he's asking the right people.
Speaking of money and contracts, John, this story out of Minnesota with Kirill Kaprizov reportedly turning down the richest contract in NHL history. Bill Guerin's poured some cold water on that report. But where do you see these contracts going? Like we talked yesterday, is Hughes worth $16 million? Is Connor worth $20? Like, where are these contracts going in 5 years, 10 years in the NHL? Is there a
Where's the
ceiling?
cap? Where's the cap going, Ryan?
Yeah,
Up.
it's going up.
You know,
up.
it's going up, and business is good in hockey, and yet, the amount of money that we roll our eyes at, that's the $16 million for any player, the 20% mark that any player can demand if they're that good of the team's cap, still is minute compared to what we see in the NBA, what we see in the NFL, what we see in Major League Baseball. And yet hockey teams right now are thriving. The game is in good shape. We're going to have an unbelievable season with an Olympic tournament that will be beyond reproach. Every arrow is pointing up for hockey. And that includes player salaries. And that's why, in the end, when you look back at now, 20 years that we've had a salary cap, and there's much more stability and a little revenue sharing, that hockey's in much better shape than it was when we had our, one of our many lockouts in the early parts of the 21st century.
So make a note in your phone, John. September the 12th, 2025. Dolly guaranteed breakfast with you next time in Toronto.
And Pat
so mark
Morris.
that down.
And Pat Morris.
I apparently I'm told the direct cook wrote down was in a couple of months.
Yeah, so
this is not
by Christmas.
This is not by Christmas.
Yes.
By Christmas. My God.
Book it.
Oh, tell you what, the paparazzi will be out en masse.
Thanks for this, John, and thanks for joining us for another season. Donnie will be back next week to chat with you. Appreciate it, John.
I don't know, Donnie better watch out. He might get Wally picked.
I'll let him know. Thanks, John.
Cheers.